Welcome to Hashtag Set Life.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Hashtag Set Life, the show where we bring on guests from the film and media industry, and we chat and talk about life on set. Tell our stories, learn some things. We are people who are early in our career and want to learn from the experiences and tales of our peers and share them with you so that you can learn a little bit about what goes on behind the curtain when making a film or a video production. And with us today, first off, I am Bradford Clark, and the ceremonious serenader that you heard there earlier was my co-host, Joseph Quick. Say hi, Joe.
Yeah, the stylophone needs new batteries, I think.
It's been a long time. It's a workhorse. Yeah, it's a workhorse. And with us today, we have actor and writer, future director, Jacob Cullen, a.k.a. Barry White Jesus. Say hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
The deeper the berry, the sweeter the Jesus.
The deeper the berry, the sweeter the Jesus. Thank you so much.
Nailed it again.
Nailing it again. It's an honor to be on this pod. I mean, we had an amazing episode of the Unorthodox film podcast.
So much fun, man. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, just about plot twists and stuff. And, you know, I'm so honored to even have this continuation to even talk more about personal experiences and maybe even more a little bit of not necessarily plot details, but just how to create a plot twist, how to make a great film and how to step away from a film and all of the creative processes that are within what we do and the honor it is to even do it.
Yeah. So you're telling us that you are presently writing and developing a feature film. Before we get into that, let's go back in time a little bit and tell us about, I think first, if there was a moment in your life when you knew you wanted to be a part of filmmaking and what that was, or your love for film and how that kind of came into play.
Well, I was raised in a giant Irish Catholic family, probably like Bradford's.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was raised Methodist, but basically.
I'm one of
French Canadian and Irish.
Yeah.
My mom's side was French Canadian. My dad's Irish. So
there's a little French Canadian in my family as well on my mother's side. So, I was always my mother on one side was the oldest of 9, right? Yeah. So you had these get-togethers and all this kind of stuff, and I was always able to just entertain the family.
Okay.
And tell jokes and people would be like, "Oh, Jacob, tell the joke that you tell or whatever," and just be in the spotlight.
You can get the floor.
And break dancing at the Coliseum in Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
While my mother was playing volleyball or some shit, so I could get quarters to play our video games and stuff. So, I was never afraid to sing. I was never afraid to play sports. I was never afraid to kind of do anything in life. So I think I've always kind of acted, and then I taught for a long time. And I think you have to be an actor to teach well.
Sure.
You have to really engage people on an individual level.
There has to be a level of entertainment might be the wrong word because not all learning is entertaining, but some sort of engagement.
Yes, absolutely. And that if you can make it entertaining,
psychologically,
you're a step ahead.
Yes. Psychologically, I'd like to call it the ability to shift perspective. Sure. So that perspective can see yours.
Yeah.
So I was always kind of envious of the theater kids, even though I hung out with bad kids and I played musical instruments. I started playing guitar when I was 16 and writing songs and so forth. So even in that and performing and going to coffee houses and bars and the Lager House when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And performing. That just allows you to know you're living your own film, right?
Yeah.
You are the fucking film, right?
Main character energy.
And trying to be, in the state of being all the time, even before I knew what that was.
Sure.
I think allowed me to try so many things. So I lived outside the U.S. for a long time, came back, and I was working as a building engineer. And was seeing a hotel being kind of renovated. There was a podcast studio, startup podcast called the Barry White Jesus Show. And, from that, I had just like artists and blah, blah, blah. So my acting in the United States, and, I was making like small films in like high school and shit.
Okay.
Like where I was living and being a part of some productions and so forth. But
you never did like acting in school or a play or anything?
No.
Okay.
It was all
it's not necessary. I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, it was all like independent, creation from myself or whatever.
I feel very, like I haven't actually performed.
More something you stumbled into in adulthood rather than, even though you had the interest, you never really did it throughout
I was dealing with some like pretty heavy
childhood.
shit, like my wife of 15 years was like battling cancer for like 11.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So before she passed, and rest her soul as well.
Sorry to hear that.
So moving back to the States, I lost like 7 really important people in my life.
Okay.
Like mother, father, grandmother, wife, etc. And even though I've always like made short films and done things creatively and written songs and performed in front of like foreign populations at like music festivals and national amphitheaters and shit, playing like Bob Dylan songs and stuff.
Amazing.
Like it was fucking incredible. I almost ran for mayor of a fucking, foreign capital.
Oh, no kidding.
That's
Just based on an interview that I was given the opportunity to do on like a Sunday night, news show.
Interesting.
And then I found out my mother was sick and I came back to the States, which like kind of led me into acting via a podcast that I had. So I was doing the podcast, beautiful space downtown, you could see into the fucking, studio through the glass. It was like Good Morning America kind of shit.
Yeah. TRL.
sounds like it. Yeah.
And, there was just like filmmakers and I met like probably a lot of people that and I was given like my first role, by Jamal Hines.
Okay.
Guy, in a film called A Lonely Place to Die. I was able to play like this.
When was this?
This is probably in like 2018 or something like that. And then I got involved in a couple other projects and one just like led to another. And, just showing up and being an extra led me into many roles with one production company and, showing up to be an extra on another one led me. The guy's like, hey, are you an actor? I'm like, yep. He's like, can you learn 8 pages in 45 minutes? Yep.
Of course I can.
Yeah. And, that led to 2 other movies.
A lot of this industry is,
and one that I met,
and on the tip of their tongue when they think of something.
I was on Gutta with Keith, and then based on what I did with that role, he was like, I was going to cut this character, but you're Uncle Jack today. And then I got Snow Bunny for a scene. And then he made me like the lead antagonist on the next one.
Right.
Where I'm kind of like playing like this John Wick character after, a robot that was stolen from me. It was an incredible opportunity. But, even
John Wick meets iRobot.
Yeah, exactly. But it just showing up and taking whatever the opportunity is for what it is. Yeah. And really engaging in the process and listening to how people make films. What are their capacities? Do you see, a guy who, is kind of like, trepidatious about what they're doing. Maybe I don't want to work with that person in that capacity. You know, if you're into film, you want to make a film, just be around film.
Yeah. No small opportunities. If you think of any opportunity as a small opportunity, you might be passing up the opportunity that can launch you.
And it's always like, something I've always said is treat everyone on set as an equal, because we're all humans, but also because you don't know who's going to be hiring you in your next job. It could be that PA that you just shit on.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, and my representation are people that I had no idea could represent me in the way that would give me the possibilities.
Yes, sure.
That never judge anyone on a set. You have no idea their power, their ability, the reason why they're there. Some people just like to be around sets and they'll just be a PA in their the manager of like tons of people.
Right.
Just because they want to be around a set and they can get a little money. And
I took a PA job not 2 months ago for NFL films.
And by the way, I'm for hire. I've done AD work. I've done, continuity work. So
hell yeah.
If you want to hire somebody, at Barry White Jesus, BERY White Jesus.
The deeper the berry, the sweeter the Jesus.
Hits it again for the one time on the good foot. So, I quickly want to get the story out because we were talking about it kind of, off camera and off podcast for a while. One of the greatest directions that I've gotten recently is I'm playing a sheriff and I pull up to a place where I kind of like confront somebody and then like the great conflict of the film like happens, right?
Yeah.
So, I pull up, I get out, I put my like nightstick in my, holster or whatever. I already got my gun, in my holster. And I'm wearing, aviators, kind of very classic sheriff, hand on the holster on both sides. I'm trying to be maybe somewhere in the order of like the sheriff at the end of whatchamacallit with Burt Reynolds and Dick Beatty.
The Bandit?
No. Squeal like a pig, boy.
Oh God, damn, Deliverance.
Yeah, like that kind of like swagger
imposing.
Paddle faster, I hear banjos.
Because it's like the end of a traumatic, like, murders have happened and shit.
Sure.
We're looking for like 2 missing men or something, or at least I am the character. And so I get out and I'm just like, what would a sheriff do? Look around before he approaches, the domicile to knock on the door. Like, is there evidence of what I think might be here? Right.
Right.
So I'm like looking left, I'm looking right, I'm looking up. I'm kind of like take a couple steps, take off the glasses because I don't want them in the next shot, they said, or whatever. So, at least getting that, at least the presence in the wide to get up to walk up to the fucking, door and shit, knock on the door. And I swear to God, it might have been like fucking 20 seconds, right? Which I think is like great B-roll.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm just, we're getting sound, we're getting fucking room tone, we're getting everything.
It's definitely a perfect time. It's definitely a perfect time to experiment, right? Like,
right, exactly.
20 seconds so you
to build
in
like,
every iteration.
To build even on the knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And how I get, whatever happens in action after knocking on that door, right? And how the character would react or fucking whatever. And the director walks out of the house. It's just like, hey, boo. A female director. It was female written and co-directed by 2 females. And she was like, hey, boo, this ain't the Equalizer. Okay. We're going to get out the fucking truck. We're going to walk up and knock on the door.
You ain't Denzel.
Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. And rolling. And I was like, yeah, that it's humbling. But as an actor, they might use that B-roll, actually. Sure. So the more you can get on film, like try it. Like, be that fool. Like, that's not a bad direction. Like, we need to move on. Okay.
Yeah. Back to Will.
At least
I got afraid to fail.
Exactly. And at least I got those 20 seconds, like on a fucking roll.
Yeah.
Like,
it's there. Now, I mean, it's, what we call alt takes. You gave me that, now give me something different.
Right. And so we did like one of the action scenes, like fucking probably 10 times, from the front, from the back, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like willing to commit every time because you don't know which take they're going to use.
That's it. Yeah.
And like there was one where like I'm knocked out, but then one of the takes, like I'm moving my hand, like, and that kind of like corresponds to like another scene. But they're like, you're knocked out. I'm like, even a knocked out person can convulse.
Yeah. Sure.
Like you can be unconscious and
your body is still active.
Absolutely. In whatever, manifestation that like has created, in your body or whatever.
Right.
And it's just allowing yourself to like be in the moment, fucking do it, commit to the character. Don't be afraid to have someone say cut and do it again. But if you're really committed to it, that's why they call me One Take Jake, baby. Like all we need is one for security. Okay. That's because Barry White Jesus is on the back end holding it down. Like, hey, get your shit together. We got to fucking make some money.
I hear you,
guy.
man.
So it's also great to have like an alter ego, like a creative presence. Like, even like your logo, it's not like your faces. It's like,
right.
A representation of what you are and believe about film.
Sure.
And shit like that.
Yeah, and shout out to our artist friend Devin for creating that for us. He did a great job. Of
Absolutely.
His own artist interpretation of the embodiment of who we are in our business.
Yeah, no, it's great.
In our little corner of the industry, we work with a lot of up and coming actors, performers who have never been in film but been in theater or never done any acting at all. And one of the things that I have made notice of, especially recently, I don't remember what project, but one of my recent projects, there was a lot of newbies, and the exhaustion that they expelled from having to do a scene over again
7
for
times,
a new angle. And
that's the most exciting part.
But I already
about
did it
acting.
7 times. Well, no, you got to do 7 more times.
That's the exciting part about as an actor. Like I consider myself an actor.
You get to do it again. You
Like
get to
I don't
try
do
it
shit for
different.
acting,
Right.
or writing, or whatever.
Right.
And the opportunity to show another variant
Right.
is a gift.
Well, and especially because most of the time we start with the wide, which most of it won't end up in the final piece. And not only that, but it's the wider, like as a viewer, you're not going to get, you can't take everything in a wide. That's what close-ups are for. That's what, moving in is for. And so if you've given your all for a wide and you're just spent and done,
For the wide.
right. Like
But
the viewer's not even going to get the magic of your power until you get the close.
But I will say this: like, I heard a great quote about Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
in A Few Good Men. Right?
Yes.
He has that powerful
Banging performance.
monologue, right? And Rob Reiner, again, we talked about him earlier.
During his incredible spell of just banger after
the
banger.
You can't handle the truth exchange.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
And there's off Jack reaction shots to Kevin Bacon, again, another fucking guy. Kevin Bacon, to all Demi, to everyone, right? Because he's like, you, Weinberg. And he's just like, why you gotta be against fucking Weinberg? And what's his name? Who plays?
Is it Cruise? Tom Cruise?
No. Cruise. It was fucking the guy who was in Usual Suspects. Fuck.
Oh, God damn it.
Kevin Pollak.
No,
No, not Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Spacey.
No, not Kevin Spacey. Fucking.
Benicio del Toro.
Is it
Stephen
Kevin?
Baldwin.
I'm sorry. No,
Kevin
he was the
Pollak.
guy. Kevin Pollak?
Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Pollak's, he's got the Caesar hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin Pollak, yeah.
Oh, I'm
It's
thinking
Kevin
of the
Pollak.
director. What's his name?
Rob Reiner.
No, the other Pollak. Sidney Pollack. My bad.
Kevin Pollak, the comedian. And
Yes,
actor.
he was in that. Yes.
Okay.
So in that scene, they start with he's like, hey Jack, do you want to, start with you, or do you want to? He's like, oh, start with the off camera stuff. I'm gonna get a little warmed up, and he fucking delivers the shit exactly the same way
Even when he's
take.
off camera, yeah.
And about the third take in, Rob's like, hey, Jack, you want to fucking, say something to your on camera? He's like, Robbie, that's what you don't understand. I just love acting.
That's a great Nicholson, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Pollak was
Right?
Acting. Yeah.
And so it's like every opportunity for another take is just like, I'm just going to try to do more.
Let's be honest. If he's reserving it for himself or for the camera, he's denying his fellow actors
Well, and here's the
the
thing.
true response to his actual performance that
One of
they're
the
trying
things
to capture.
I think
And
is
by a legend,
Yeah.
just giving it his all.
one of the things I think is important for an actor to know is filmmaking. too many actors think that their job is to just show up and perform. And the truth of the matter is you have to be aware of the camera and you have to be aware of the art,
mark. Yes.
right? Because
stay in your light.
Motion is everything.
yes, that
Motion
too,
is everything in acting.
But what I mean is understanding how a film comes together and the importance of why we're doing multiple shots and so forth. And there are times when performing a scene where you're going to get a particular moment. Let's just say a particular line. Let's just say it was let's just use, A Few Good Men as an example, you can't handle the truth, right? He delivers that multiple times. As you mentioned, most of it was off camera until it was on camera, right? You can only use in the edit one instance of this repeated performance.
Correct. Yeah. So it's that cut on him at that time.
So there are a lot of actors who get very hung up on this is how I did it the last time I said it. When the truth of the matter is, if we're using this time that you said it, we're not using that last time. So you can recreate your performance in that time. And that's where alts come in. If you've explored it 10, 15 different ways in other, even if it's the same shot, different performances, all you're doing is
one makes it.
You're adding more ingredients to that buffet for when the edit comes in that you can
But you have to adhere to the essence of
you have to understand
moment, right?
the rest of it.
Sure.
Right.
So you can only ad lib as much as the character.
And it's not even about ad lib. You can
change the words.
You can change the intonation. You can change the intensity.
I use ad lib loosely because ad lib could also be physically.
Sure. I understand that.
And a lot of times,
as long as it can cut, don't turn around and face a different way and now I can't cut to you.
Yeah, don't all of a sudden throw your arm
a lot of
up,
times when there's blocking going on as an actor, like I feel like I'm a talking prop. Mm-hmm. So every my hand is a prop, like
puppet. Yeah,
everything on me is.
That's how I approach every role. I'm a puppet to this production.
Correct.
I will do what they need of me.
So, and even that, even the motion, so if my hands are here, they can start here for continuity. They start here, right? So when they do the cut, at least
you have to be able to.
I'm adhering to,
correct.
Some sort of
And that's what I mean. You have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of those moments when you're permitted to be able to change something and when you're not, when you have to lock into.
That's it. You still have to hit your blocking. You have to hit your marks. You have to be in your light. Other than that, that's your range. You know what I mean?
And I'll give another, set life story real quick is the difference between talent and crew on a good set, there is no difference.
Yeah. One helps the other. Without an actor, I don't need
applaud that one.
Right. There is no difference because, the grip, the gaffer, the AD, the PA can give any bit of just insight to the film as they see it, which could add so much value, just by saying that Thor, there's a kid is hey, he's a friend from work.
He's a friend from work.
There was some kid
yelled that
he's hey, just fuck. He's some kids hey, just fucking say, he's a friend from work. Hey, fucking.
Chris Hemsworth just walk in the room?
Right.
I'm loving your impressions, dude. This is great.
So,
you got to be open to embody what the film needs, what the character needs.
And just as an actor and to all actors.
And also not afraid to put in anything you can think of to add to, as long as you're not taking away from the moment, as we said.
Yeah. Correct. If it's not out of character, it's always character.
That's it.
And you just want to be a character in the film, right? So, and a memorable one, hopefully. So I've come into this environment, very late after going through a lot of shit, supporting things, doing a lot of other stuff, creating a business and teaching and all that, these kind of things.
Yeah. Let me know when you started having somebody write a biography so we can option the documentary, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been blessed.
Do you find as an actor, life experience as, a part of your toolbox? Are you an actor that allows yourself to tap into personal experience to shape what a character may have experienced, or do you separate yourself completely from that?
It's interesting. I think that, my life experience allows me to be on a set and assimilate to that set. Mm-hmm. Once that is achieved, now I could be the character that I have to be. Okay. Right. So being prepared is maybe having like a literary background that I do, and like having to have had memorized like sections of poems and shit for classes and stuff like that. And, make literary analysis on screenplays and, stage plays and so forth. But it's about being able to like get there and create out of everything that you've ever like seen in a moment, right? So being knowledgeable of anything that you could possibly be knowledgeable of is going to help you out in every situation on the set.
I
assimilating to the set is like, there might be an actor from like fucking France or some shit. Oh, bonjour, comment ça va? Yeah, and you're automatically, the more you can be a chameleon on set and just be open to the experience, be able to connect. That's going to make the reactions between what you're doing on the camera's going to pick up everything, right? Yeah. So it sees fake. And
it really does.
Like a fart in a car.
Yeah.
Like a fart in a car.
And you can smell like a fart in a car.
Yeah.
Makes you think of Step Brothers.
Especially in 6K.
This is a small office. Yeah. Onions and ketchup. It's on my tongue.
So, I think having a great life experience, which I think I have, and I'm very fortunate and grateful to have lived until this day, which is even a greater day for me to be able to talk about movies and shit with you guys. And,
hell yeah.
I don't think that any experience, any reading, anything that you do can minimize what you can bring to a set. Like any idea that you have could be valid and put in, and at least a learning experience. Like I had a opportunity to do a rewrite on a biopic, and it was going to be tremendous. And then someone dies, and that story dies with it. But what I learned is how to line produce. I learned how to cast. I learned how to direct. I learned how to run rehearsals. I learned how to do marketing, Right. I'm engaged with like Canva and fucking AI and all kinds of other tools that are, make it more appealing to be a part of my project. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And to be able to carry that over into another project. And this is another thing I think we could all share is if you're writing a script, sometimes it's good to step back from the writing and focus on something like poster work or something.
Right.
How do you want the main colors of the film to be? What is the style of the film that you want it to be?
Sometimes stepping away from the words can give you scope.
Yes.
What you need to say.
Focus on the meta.
Yeah.
Like the greater aspects of the film, like color, design, genre, etc. And even thinking about noir, like it's going to cost more to do that because you need more lighting.
Right.
Hands down.
Yeah.
You need more coordination. You need more cinematography happening in a noir film, because if you're out of light, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You've broken that reality.
It's knowing the tool's ability and knowing what you need out of it. Because it's not necessarily that it needs more, but it needs more preparation, because it might take time to create.
Because the whole background's
because you're not just doing a glossy illumination, you're doing pointed illumination.
Yes. So like for noir, you're going to do like the hard shadows for the characters in the frame, but then when you go to the background, it can't be a wash of light.
Right.
Correct.
It has to be lights.
Well, the best noir, there are signals of something in the background.
Yes.
That are indicating like the X or the fucking.
In The Departed,
and I even, it's funny that you mentioned that, because, and not to give the kind of title of my film is also can be broken down to a very easily memorable, acronym. So, having like an idea of the logo of your idea, how can you use tools to like make that come to life? And like,
I think it's important to be able to see the film the way that the viewers would see the film. I think one of the things that filmmakers do that is hurtful to them is seeing the film from their own eyes. There was a film I worked on recently that I was involved in the editing production of it, and because I came into the film late, I wasn't there for the development of it. I didn't see what everyone else saw. So I'm the closest to what a viewer would get out of the film. And when working with the filmmaker, it was a challenge sometimes to remind him that what he knows because he created it. We have to be able to let the viewers in on this. There are some things that you are aware of as the filmmaker because you're embedded into it.
Does not showcase
Correct.
the knowledge you carry.
So what you're talking about with writing and taking a step back, I think it's incredibly important to be able to take a step back and see it through a different lens and
talk to other people about it. Actually,
is this delivering what I think it's delivering? Because you can get lost in your own. You're the storyteller, so of course these little minutia details, but if
how
they're
can that be transmittable?
Exactly.
So, and another thing, just even looking at like the experience that I had with like line producing, a biopic, and having done AD work on some other footage that I thought was fucking fantastic. Like the trailer looked great, right? And I was one of the characters in it, and I got to do another like accent and like be like a manager of like a well-known, fucking musical artist and shit. So I've really had the opportunity to, play some variant roles, and just being committed to each one of them is important.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's about, again, stepping back, talking to, I want to make this type of film. All right, talk to somebody who can make that lighting for you.
Yeah.
What is that? And then ask them their day rate.
Yeah.
Figure out the line, budget for
Those are important questions to think about beforehand. There is a habit in this particular
pre-production
market.
needs to become a much more sought after skill.
This market, the habit seems to be
the indie market really needs to embrace.
Yes.
More
what's been happening.
We have a script figured out on the diving board, jumping into the budget.
It's like, matey.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's
into the shark infested waters.
I think it's even more. It's more than that. So what I personally have been seeing,
chummed, so
right, yeah.
What I've personally been seeing is here's a script by person A. I want to make it a movie. And person B says, well, I have this much money. As opposed to saying, here's the script. What will this script cost? What could we, and
you have to, in pre-production, make it a fucking $11 million film.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you scale back.
Then you start paring down.
Correct.
Yeah.
The script, when you're writing it, should be a fucking $11 million film.
Right.
Or whatever,
Right.
20, 100, whatever.
Or 20 million. Let's call it $20 million.
Go to the depths of your imagination.
Correct.
You can bring it back to make it a
imagination
reality.
is free.
You don't.
Correct.
You
because
don't
those same scenes could
and
actually
make
be
it bigger.
A reality with green screen and shit.
Sure.
Right?
You never know.
And just this past week, the filmmaker I was working with said, he was struck with where he had to start paring down his script, paring down his shot ideas. We were just running out of time. And he had said, I am really grateful for the restrictions that are put upon me. And I think that is something that as artists, we all have to really embrace.
Yes, mother is what is it? Something is the mother.
The mother of invention.
Yeah.
So
problem is the mother of invention.
You have to, writing is
limitation.
Imagination is free. Imagination is free, and there's no limit to what you can envision.
Correct.
And that's the ultimately your the vision that you have in your head is the best that will ever be. And know that when it comes to reality, it's not going to be that. Right.
Accepting that is a great step forward to making it.
So that's when you have to start really figuring out.
Is the mother of ingenuity, because that you're forced to create something new to overcome an obstacle.
And, even like looking at a film like Rocky and like the Steadicam kind of came out of that film,
revolutionized.
Right?
Yes.
On the stairs, right? That scene, and like tracking somebody and being able to do that. And, I'm working on my a property to become a production house and be able to make independent films with like such added production value.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really all we can really reach for is that added value.
Space and the ability to light. And we talked, without sound, there is no film, but without the proper lighting, it's
very similar. It's forgivable to have poor lighting versus sound, but it is an element that is so important.
And this is church. Let me come back to this 5-page scene. Okay, I have a 5-page scene, and I'm working with people that we all know, right? And a girl who we talked off camera, I think, who kills it, right? And, from the crew, it's like, oh, we got 5 pages. Fuck. Hopefully we can get the lunch, blah, 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 and it's like, okay, well, I feel unprepared. Right. I walk into the fucking, production office. I'm kind of in the bullpen, and I see the, lead, and I'm like, hey, do you want to run some lines? She's like, absolutely. We go into her, kind of like office or whatever. We run it and we feel good, Maybe she checked a couple lines. Maybe I checked a couple lines. Like, am I on that? Yeah. Okay. That's the beat. Okay. And even annotating, like, doesn't matter if I look at it again, just writing it down. A moment. It's another neurological synapse. I've been doing this shit.
Making notes and writing down, I've heard from more than one performer, actor, that it helps solidify.
I've been doing this since I was like fucking 15.
Writing a girl I worked with last week.
I wrote it out verbatim.
Yeah.
And shit like that. Like I copied an atlas, like a children's atlas one year. Okay. Just
writing it down.
Fucking reading it and copying it. Fucking word for word.
I mean, that goes, if you go all the way back to our days in school, that's why they had you Bart Simpson that shit on the wall. I will not, blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to embed that into you. The more that you do it, and not thinking about
classical condition.
You have to physically involve yourself in it.
And as fuck,
Yeah, and the salivating, all that kind of shit. So, it's 5 pages, blah, blah, blah. And then, script continuity comes over. Hey, can we run this, as the kind of AD is, setting up other shit. We run through, they're like, damn, you're like both off script, like you're ready to go. Okay, cool. So we get in there, block it, run it with the director, fucking bang, done. The only time that we had to do any other, hiccups or anything is because somebody else fucked up. Right. And that's a great feeling as an actor, but I don't mind having like Robbie. I just love acting.
Yeah.
Again, from the top, that was on camera. Movement was wrong. Again, from the top, focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom and shot.
Exactly. So
all kinds of those things.
But you should take that as
it's another opportunity. Absolutely.
Here we go again, baby.
Like, I'm getting paid whatever for that day. I'm gonna fucking make it worth my while.
Absolutely.
And hopefully,
because you only have this one opportunity.
Hopefully, 200 turns into $2,000, turns into 200,000, turns into $2 million.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, like, as an actor, you have to appreciate. The greatest compliment that you can get from the crew was like, it's hard to make 5 pages entertaining.
Yeah.
It wasn't like great job. It wasn't whatever. Because what does that say? That's like, you entertain me for 5 minutes. So good for you.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to entertain the fucking
everybody
audience.
else.
How can it not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the crew is definitely going to. I've
Because
never
they've
thought
seen
about
so
that.
much shit.
They're your first audience.
Absolutely.
And I got to tell you, like, as a crew member,
when you see someone like me, because I don't even laugh.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yes, exactly.
You see me in the corner because I hide in the shadows.
damn,
I'm the lighting guy.
if you're like, hey
If I'm
man,
over
like
there-
you brought
catch me
that
in
shit.
a, you catch me in a spit
if I'm
take
choking
or
on a fucking holding the
Yes.
laugh back, you fucking.
and it's not all, and you know, a laugh is the easiest thing
And
that
for
we can talk
actors
about,
out there, like I am performing for the crew.
you have it's your first audience, right? You've got nothing
absolutely.
else.
The times I've
absolutely.
been choking back tears because of some of the, you know,
Absolutely,
Like
I'm
a hard
acting
sell on either of them.
I'm acting with the other actor. But even when there's like nothing but me in the scene or something like that, you know, I'm performing for who's ever in the room.
Yeah.
And to know that you can do that as an actor, and then you're not performing to camera, like to try to perform to camera is fucking horrible.
Yes.
Right. Unless it calls for it.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Coming
be
from
aware of the camera, but did it?
Coming from stage performing, that's where my introduction came in was on the stage. I was a dancer first, then an actor. The first time I acted in front of camera was intimidating as fuck. It's just, there's a difference between being 15 to 20 feet away from your audience and being 4 feet away from a giant mechanical eyeball that's
'cause
literally
you
just
can-
gazing down your
You
throat.
can feel the million eyeballs behind it, whether they get there or not. You feel that.
And it's cold. The camera is cold. There's no
No reaction.
None whatsoever.
what it
It's
thinks of you
mechanical
'cause it
It's
doesn't
just
think a fucking thing.
It's just eating up what you're giving it.
It doesn't think a fucking thing.
This is something that I've tried to develop as I've had more and more like close-ups, right? And like being able to give a shout out to Keith Rice, like a lot of opportunity in a very short time to, you know, try to be the actor who, again, is so great you can't be denied, but you want people to call you back.
Yeah.
And the more you can get called back, even if it's a small role, never be too above that, whatever role it is.
Agreed.
Show up and just act. Like if you're an actor, fucking act. If you're a writer, write. If you're an AD, fucking get on the set. And
You are only as good as your current job, because once this job is over, you're unemployed. So you have to
That job
keep
gets you
killing
your
it.
next job, yeah.
You have to keep killing it to keep working.
well, that's why I'm an actor and a writer, because when I'm not acting, I'm a writer.
Writing, yeah.
Instead of unemployed.
I mean, we all do our
I'm
things,
a
but
gaffer and an actor because I'm not lighting. I'm acting.
but
exactly.
I guess my point for it is just like, if you don't treat it as like this moment has to be the moment and the greatest thing I've ever done. So I came from sales, right?
Yeah.
In 10 years in sales, you have a job, you know that you're there, but we have this saying where it's like, once you have it, the best time to make a sale is after the last sale you made.
Correct. Yeah. What have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
Is like,
Because that's done. That's done and over with. Like,
But-
cool, you did that, but you have to keep moving forward.
what's great about the film industry is that you can always update your resume. You can always, you know, work on your craft. You can always like take
you
your
should
past
be.
things and like recut it and like show like different
Showcase
aspects.
different parts of it.
Absolutely.
Omit certain.
Absolutely. And craft it
Sure.
to the project that you're looking
That's
to be
it,
on,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and giving a lot of options to your representation to allow to represent you the best way that they can.
Yeah.
You know, I go to yard sales, I go to thrift stores, I try to get as much like clothing, and like I was just picking up like double-breasted fucking suits that fit me absolutely perfect from like a high designer for $1.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah,
just
the right resale store. Yeah.
right, or the right yard sale.
Yeah.
You know, so
Be vigilant because in the indie market,
and, like, look for
a lot
props,
of times,
like, what-
actors are responsible for their
are.
own wardrobe.
I have an old school, push button telephone, gray buttons, all black, red, like bat phone kind of fucking button on the top. It doesn't work,
love it.
but I use it for
So
phone
that's
work.
the aesthetic. Yeah.
I use it for phone work. I just pick it up and talk in the mirror with it. and have conversations.
Yeah, that's good.
To myself, to God, to whatever, right? And that elicits, and the more that you can like repeat a mantra and like have that device to like elicit that kind of emotion to yourself has great benefits to it. But, you know, if actors are into recall or method or whatever, you know, being able to like talk about intimate shit about yourself to yourself allows you to have a conversation with the camera, which is the most intimate thing that we've invented, I think, as humans, is to be able to capture human emotion, human storytelling.
It's a mirror that saves moments.
Yeah.
Right. You know, a mirror is probably the most truthful thing in existence. It doesn't lie to you.
I'm glad you said mirror because, you know, as a teacher, I always said, I am a mirror for the good and the bad of what I'm trying to project and transfer to the individual that I'm trying to teach.
Yeah. Nice.
Right. So I am just that reflection. No, we didn't do it that way yet, but we can get there, blah, blah, blah. And this is what it looks like. And, you know, when you're doing it, we're going to model that and blah, 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 blah. So like that mirror but I also treat like the camera like the sun, right?
Okay.
You never look at it. You have to
that's true.
You want to stay.
Unless you're told.
But you can look at the camera.
Yes.
You can look at the camera when you're acting.
You have to look through it.
Yes.
Beyond it. Into the scene it's supposed to hold.
That's why it's like the sun. You can always look to the side. You can always like
over it, under it.
Embrace it, be part of it, but never be one with it.
Like imagine your head, not far off, is the sun. I'm kidding.
I reflect a lot of light.
But, you know, your camera.
I've used them as a bounce before.
You know, your camera.
Stand over there.
And there's something around you I can focus on, right?
Right.
So, but I can't focus on you because it's like this. It could damage my retina almost.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not a fear, but an awareness. So if you can develop something that you can't look at directly, you know.
And that's kind of what I was speaking on earlier. There are actors that I've worked with that don't take the camera seriously in the sense that they do believe that they can just step into their mark, perform, and it's everyone else's job to capture it. And as an actor, you have to be aware of your space, aware of the camera, aware of the light.
Open the camera.
You know,
right?
you have to. If you don't feel the light on you, like
most aggravating is the thing when it's an OTS, right, over the shoulder, and we're so close. We need you to be a statue. So your time's over, or we'll be next.
Right.
And right now, you're a shoulder that doesn't move.
You need to stop blocking frame.
Yeah. Every time you move an arm, the whole frame's
what's
fucked.
crazy is that over the shoulder for the actor who is being shot over the shoulder, like one of your lines could be the most impactful without even seeing yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's always trying to deliver whatever you can.
As an editor, I have for sure used a good performance, a delivery of a performance off camera, and married it with a great performance of a reaction. And I'm not stealing anything from the performer who delivered the line, because what was delivered was important, but I needed to marry it with the reaction, and the two together make a great moment.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, oh, how come you didn't see my face while you said that? I might have started the line there and then went over into, because it was more impactful for a viewer.
And I'm thinking about a scene, right, in this film that I'm writing. And there's a moment to where kind of like the lead is getting more and more intimate with some of the people that he's going to kill and shit. And it's a serial killer movie. Anyway, so it's just a shot of like, you know, a ceiling with a vent removed.
Okay.
And then like dialogue coming out of that vent, and then cut to like these two people that are in suspense of like being murdered or whatever are walking down the hallway as it kind of like the voice, you know, comes from the whole.
Haunting echo.
Comes from the whole to the people, and then, you know, they're turning and like engaging with this voice and so forth, but you're never seeing the person
speaking.
Right. So
disembodied voice. Yeah.
You know, it's these kind of like implied moments, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, kind of at the tail of the end of the scene, there's like, you know, this person like takes a wrench and hits a pipe like a fucking metronome. And it's that score leading into the next moment, that next beat.
Okay.
How can we as filmmakers in this, you know, area let silence, let imagination come into the next scene rather than a quick cut of like, okay, now we're drinking coffee, now we're fucking
my realm there.
Doing
It'd
this.
be camera movement and lighting, right? So like
Right.
very subtle touches and like the way I would paint the scene with light to make it feel either eerie or hopeful, whatever you're going for. I'm guessing eerie.
Yeah, of course.
With what you can see.
Right.
But I mean, I could change the tone of the light in 5 seconds and it could look hopeful, even though he's saying something dreary. Like,
And
so
those are kind of like the roller coasters of a great film,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a collaboration because you've got so many different departments there, because you, even on set after shooting it, you may
have
not.
sound, you have
Right, so-
lighting and coloration.
A film I just finished editing, I was very happy with the edit as it was. You know, as an editor, you're at the whim of the director, right?
Yeah.
Because you can only do so much that you want to do because you're making their movie.
For sure.
So you have to really be, you know, at their disposal as well.
Whim or whatever.
So between our collaboration was what it was, and a part of me was just feeling like as confident as I was that the edits were correct, there was something that wasn't selling for me. And then it went off into sound and design. And when it came back and I rewatched it, I was like, bam! Holy shit, that's what was missing. Just a little bit of noise, a little bit of sound, a little bit of clarity to.
Right.
So like it's one of those things where you can only do so much, and then another department, another artist comes in and
you have to trust
finesses. You know, a
Yeah.
cake can be delicious on its own, but once some frosting,
Icing?
sprinkles,
Ooh, baby.
and scoop of ice cream,
go
all of that
mode.
together, then it's like bam,
Sprinkles,
bam.
chocolate syrup,
And
baby.
again, if I think for anyone trying to create film and write or direct or whatever, I think trying to be a writer director in film is like a very noble thing, right? To be responsible for what's seen and heard on film,
Yeah.
as well as create the content to make sure it's seen and heard is you know what we all should try to do no matter what we do in film, and no matter long or short that film is, and be responsible for trying to figure out how that can get done. That's, you know, it's like building a fire or catching a fish or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited about the film that, you know, I'm trying to create and working on.
So do you want to talk at all about the project that you have developing? Is there anything about the development process that you want to talk about? Like you had mentioned something about stepping away earlier, and that made me think about early in my learning phase. You know, I was a big fan of Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, and I don't remember which of the two of them I had heard this from. I believe it was Tarantino, but it could be Robert Rodriguez. But one of the two of them said when they're writing, what they do is they take two characters and they put them in a room and they let them talk, and they just start to.
That's Quentin Tarantino.
I just did this with a set of characters that kind of like leads the viewer off the trail of what's happening in the film. Okay.
And what they were saying was that, you know, they allow, and of course, obviously they're writing when they say the characters, but they allow these characters as they know them to have this conversation. Then they just let the conversation develop. And from that, they may discover like, oh, okay, that's what I need for this. And that conversation may or may not be in the film.
Correct.
But it leads to like, okay, now I've been able to work out how these two characters will, experience this situation or this scene, or this is where the story is going to, and he allows the characters within the story to tell the story to him.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And the words come from the character, right?
Right.
Because that's what they would say.
Yeah.
Right. And when you can put yourself in a position of writing
them what to say, you let them try to speak to you.
Right? Correct. And, what the fuck would Renee say, or whomever. And, that's a really good position to be in as a writer, where you can, allow just an idea become something completely different than you possibly could imagine. But it's writing it down, reading it back, having other people give you feedback, etc. So to every content creator, filmmaker, come on this podcast. These guys are amazing.
Thank you. And with that, it's been a wonderful conversation, man. And we could go on forever. I could just talk to you all night, but we have to wrap it up here. So how would you have people find you? And
I'm on Instagram at Barry White Jesus, BERRY White Jesus. The deeper the berry, the sweeter the Jesus. And then you can look at my IMDb, and hopefully I can fortify that with a lot of other things that I've been in recently. But you can find me at Jacob Cullen, Jacob Norway, Cullen. And thank you to the Unorthodox Film Podcast.
Absolutely, man.
And the UFO Stadium arena.
Yes. Hell yeah.
So,
hopefully one day.
Build your own arena and people will come.
That's right. That's what I heard. That's what Darth Vader once told me.
Yes. And
he said,
Field of Dreams.
If you build it, they will come.
Field of Dreams. But so, yes, thank you so much. And, filmmaking is just a great opportunity to be around creative people.
Yeah, it's one of the better industries, in my personal opinion, to allow you to be around people that are most like yourself.
Yeah.
And be so different.
Yes.
There's
significantly different and interested in the same shit.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many fascinating people that we get to meet, and you have been one of them. So I'm very, very grateful to have come across your path. And I really appreciate you taking your time to come out today and share your wisdom and experience and knowledge with us. So thank you all for listening. We are #SetLife under the Unorthodox Film Podcast. You can find us at our website at ufpodcast.podbean.com or on Facebook at Unorthodox Film Podcast. Joe, did you tell people how they can find you yet?
No, I mean,
then why don't you?
It's at chaotic_artisan on the gram, on Instagram, and Joseph Sheldon Quick on everything else, especially the IMDb.
Yeah, and our Instagram is ufostudio.detroit on the gram. I am still working on getting my absconded Instagram back, so that's also where you'll find me. You can email us topics or your interested questions, or maybe there's someone that that should be on here, or maybe you want to be on here. Email us.
And you should. You should be on here.
Email us at ufostudio.detroit@gmail.com, and you can listen to us on all streaming platforms. Share for us. So if you found some interest here and you know somebody in your life, or maybe you don't know if there's someone in your life that would be interested in our content, just share it for us. Share, like, subscribe. We are trying to grow. We are humble, and we are just trying to involve you in the world of film as we see it and as we love it. So thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
I love this job.